Hello, inspired leader. Uh, Today, I'm actually recording this on a Friday evening. That's why I'm a little bit dressed up. I'm going out for dinner and wanted to just drop in this message around the theme of being inconsistently consistent. I listened to a podcast from Kara Lowenthal a while ago, a couple months ago. I'll drop it in. I'll drop in a link here. And it really freed me from, I have this little nattering narrative that I don't do consistency well, or I struggle to be consistent. And I have in my Clifton Strengths report, consistency is literally number 34. So, it isn't inherent in me to want to do the same things over and over and over again. So ideation, new ideas are my strength. Repeating things over and over is harder for me. And yet, when I listened to Kara's podcast, I realized, I do consistency in bursts. So I can have bursts of consistency. And then I'm embracing this idea of being inconsistently consistent. And what I realized is there's a couple of things that I do consistently. One is this newsletter. I've been doing this newsletter. We took a break in 2023. But other than that, like I've been doing a weekly newsletter for 13 years. Like that's a heck of a lot of newsletters, I'm realizing. And so, yeah, I can do consistency. And I've also been inconsistently consistent with my Peloton. And I'm now obsessed with, I'm on an 88-week streak, which means I can probably get to 2 years consistently, which means at least doing one Peloton workout a week to get that week streak. And I know one week when I was on vacation, I did a meditation app just to save the week. But other than that, I've done something, whether it's yoga or strength or the bike, every week. And when I was away this past week on a yoga retreat, which I'll tell you more about in another video, but it was a resort that had a ton of stairs. Like it was basically a resort on the side of a hill. And so you either to get down to the beach and down to the restaurant were a lot of stairs down, or up to my room was probably 100 steps to get up to my room. And then the yoga studio was even like another 100 steps up the hill into this, though, amazing yoga, open air yoga studio that looked out like over the trees and over the ocean. So it was definitely worth schlepping up there. But I did have a moment of thinking, wow, like I don't actually think I could have done this easily 4 or 5 years ago. And that was definitely like in the pandemic years, the perimenopause years, sitting all the time. And I still sit way too much now, but I wasn't really moving my body. And I certainly wasn't lifting weights consistently like I do now. So I was just acknowledging that, which feels very uncomfortable to acknowledge with you here, but that's okay. That's part of the practice here, is to acknowledge and celebrate these moments of progress. There's no perfection in this journey, but there is progress. And when I change my narrative around I'm not good at consistency and instead embrace how I navigate that, which is bursts of consistency, certainly with my, I would say, with my nutrition and fitness, bursts of consistency, and then periods of inconsistency. And then I'll have other concentrated periods of consistency, and then maybe some inconsistency. Yeah. So I wanted to share that today because I think we can all get very hard on ourselves if we're not doing these things perfectly or as all of the experts recommend. And what I really want to embrace and encourage you to join me is that we can be inconsistently consistent and still make progress. And I think that's what it's all about. We're playing a long game here in terms of our, if we put this in the health and wellness category or even in business building. We're playing a long game. And it's when we get, I think, hooked into perfection or maybe hooked into seeing short-term results. That's when we experience disappointment and frustration, and then we just stop altogether. So it's not inconsistent. It's a hard stop, and that's actually not helpful. So join me in embracing the value and benefits of being inconsistently consistent with whatever goals or intentions you're setting for yourself. And let's celebrate that progress. That is worthwhile progress. Let me know what you are inconsistently consistent with. Send me your ideas, your inspiration, your stories. I really love hearing from you. And I hope you have a fabulous rest of your week.